Good evening, hello, and welcome, everybody. Welcome to yet another Soul Service Sunday with me, Renee B. In case you don't know who I am, Intuitive Renee B is who I am. Welcome, everybody. It's so nice to see all of you arrive a little bit early and to say hi and to connect and to just join. That is what Soul Service Sundays are all about. I do hope that you've all had an amazing weekend. Um, yeah, I wanted to ask before we get too far into it, preferences for morning or evening service. I know some people in other parts of the world, they have their preferences based on what time they're awake. But for those of you who are here at the moment, what is your preference? Please do let me know. Let's get started with our evening because we have a very interesting topic tonight. And it's been quite interesting how this has come about. So let me just take a minute. Thanks everybody for the answers. Let me just take a minute and explain what is soul service for those of you who are maybe watching for the first time. So basically, it is a service we do once a week on a Sunday where we connect to spirit, where we allow spirit to connect with us, where we open ourselves up to receive whatever the lessons, learning, and experiences are that spirit need for us. And generally, the way that it works for me is a couple of days leading up to the soul service, I consciously connect to spirit and say, right, what do people need to hear? What is relevant? What is significant? And that's generally where the topic comes through. I then sit with that and ask questions, receive answers, and basically through the detailed process come up with the information that I share with you. So we're going to start off as we do each week with an opening prayer just to switch the minds off, just to open the hearts and just to put ourselves into a receptive space. Then we're going to go straight into a healing prayer. So you are encouraged to participate and engage in healing. You can start now already putting names down in the healing, in the chat. Any names you put in the chat will be included in the healing. If you want to put names on a piece of paper, if you just want to hold names in your heart, whatever it works for you. I have a book that I put names in, and this book gets healing from me every single day. So anybody whose name is in here receives healing on a daily basis. It's so important that we do that. So however it works for you, you can start putting names down into the chat of anybody who needs to receive healing at this time. So we do a bit of a healing ritual meditation, and then I go into the astrology for the week ahead. And we've got quite a lot happening this week. So I give you a kind of a short explanation of what it is, and then I give you horoscopes for each sign of the zodiac as to how this event that I'm talking about, how it's going to impact you for the next week. And then we go into our main event, which is the reflection. So I called it reflection because it's something that we need to reflect on. It's something that hopefully is going to be thought-provoking for each one of us, and it's the reflection that spirit have given to me to share with you. All right, and tonight's reflection is a big one. So we're talking about death, dying, and the afterlife, the process, the journey, and the truth. So shall we get straight into it? I do think it's important that we get straight into it. So let's start off with our opening prayer, our opening ritual, just to bring ourselves into the right headspace. So, beloved ascended masters, angels, and spirit guides, we call upon your presence with gratitude and with so much love. Please surround us now with your divine light and your divine protection, creating a sacred space of peace, of clarity, and safety. Ascended masters who guide us from within, please illuminate our hearts and our minds, helping us to release fear, to release doubt, and to release any distractions, so that we may journey inward with trust and with grace. Archangels of the highest realms, please wrap your wings of light and strength around us. Archangel Michael, please shield us with your mighty sword of truth, cutting away all that no longer serves us. Archangel Raphael, please fill this space with healing energy, restoring balance and harmony within and around us. Archangel Gabriel, please bless us with clarity and inspiration, helping us to hear the whispers of our souls. Our spirit guides, who are our faithful companions, who walk with us gently every day, guiding each step of this experience. Please help us to align with our highest purpose and open our hearts to divine love and wisdom. So as we embark on this journey of Soul Service Sunday, we affirm that we are safe, that we are protected, and that we are so deeply, deeply loved. Let this time of stillness and reflection bring peace, bring healing, and renewed energy to our beings. And thank you all for being here with me on this Sunday. Yes, please keep all the names coming into the chat of everybody who is in need of healing at this time. And I do think I need to switch that off. And I need to put that on because we're going to go into the sending and receiving of energy healing right now. So yeah, you can join me for that. What I'm going to do for the healing portion is I'm going to put something else on the screen just so that you're not focusing on me or my background or anything that's going on, so that you can focus inward within yourself to connect with whoever it is that is in need of healing at this time. Okay. So there we go. You can stare at that little ripple as it goes through. And friends, I invite you now to join me as we take a deep breath in. And as you hold it for a brief second, and when you exhale, I want you to feel yourself relax into the sacred space and into this moment right here and right now. Let us come together in the spirit of love, in the spirit of compassion, and in the spirit of healing. I invite you now to bring to mind anyone, whether they be human or animal, who is in need of healing on a physical, on a mental, on an emotional, or even on a spiritual level. We include all the names that have been typed into the chat. And as you do think of anybody and as you do type their names, we honor them. We honor their presence. We honor their journey. And we honor the healing that is available for them right now. Beloved source of all life, we ask that the healing energies flow freely through this gathering. We ask that you surround us with the purest light, bathing each name that has been spoken, typed, or silently held in the heart. Please bathe them in divine love and restoration. We call upon Archangel Raphael, who is the healer of the body, the mind, and the spirit. And we ask him to wrap his emerald green light around those in need, easing pain and bringing renewal. We call upon Archangel Michael, who is the protector of all souls, and we ask that he use his mighty sword of light to cut through fear, to cut through doubt, and to cut through any energies that no longer serve. We call upon Archangel Gabriel, who is the bringer of clarity and hope. Please infuse those who are in need with the strength to see their own light and to find their own way forward. We also call upon Archangel Uriel, who is the keeper of wisdom and peace. Please shine your golden light upon the path of those in need, filling them with serenity and understanding. And of course, we also invite in the Ascended Masters, the Divine Teachers, and our loving Spirit Guides to surround all of these souls with compassion and grace, amplifying their healing and guiding them towards wholeness. So friends, I invite you now to take a moment as we send out the healing energies to everybody who has been thought about, written about, or held in your heart. I want you now to visualize a beautiful, beautiful, radiant golden light emanating from your heart. I want you to see this light flowing from your heart space, down your arms, coming down to your hands, and beaming out from your palms. Turn your palms face up and allow this golden light that starts at your heart space, travels down your arms to your palms and out your hands. See this light going up into the air directly above you, and see it raining down completely over you, over your home, and over everybody whose name has been mentioned today. See this light expanding outward even more, touching each being and eventually surrounding the entire world. Let's all visualize the entire globe surrounded in a beautiful, radiant golden light that comes from each of our heart spaces, and it goes out to everybody. Those mentioned, named, and those not. Let's send healing collectively out to everybody. May they all be healed. May everybody be at peace. And may everybody feel loved and supported. I want you now to take your hands that are now beaming out this beautiful golden light, and I want you to place it directly onto your own heart. Place your hands onto your own heart and send the same healing energy to yourself. You are healed. May you be at peace. And may you feel loved and supported as you are. And with your hands still on your heart, take another deep breath. And as you exhale, know that the healing is done. Trusting that the healing has gone out to all of those who need it most, and to yourself as well. And so it is. And so it is. Again, it's always so lovely to send beautiful healing energies out to everybody who is in need at this time. Right, so I am speeding rapidly along. Let's get this show on the road as we dive into the astrology for this week. The astrology for this week is very, very interesting. Very interesting. So we have a lot happening, okay? So, and remember, I'm looking at just the next week. So we're doing basically Monday to Sunday. And this week is a big week astrologically. There is a lot happening, and it's all happening in the same sign, okay? So it's not like it's scattered all over the chart, because there's always a lot happening all over the chart. But what I'm looking at for us today, this week, is three events that are happening in the same sign. So it really is amplified. So I've basically combined it all together to give us a better picture of what's going on. I also just want to acknowledge that what I'm saying here today is from a Southern Hemisphere point of view, okay? So for those of you watching who are the Northern Hemisphere, you're going to have to make a little bit of adjustments. So normally, us Southerners, when we watch anything astrologically or read anything astrologic, it's always a Northern Hemisphere thing. So it's so nice for us to get a Southern Hemisphere perspective for a change. So the first big event that I want to talk about this week is our sun that moves into the sign of Aries. So the sun moves into the sign of Aries, which marks the autumn equinox. So this is a time of balance. It's a time of transition. It's a time where the day and the nights are equal in length. Astrologically, this shift carries powerful themes of change, of self-discovery, and preparation for introspection as we, in the Southern Hemisphere, move into darker half of our year. Okay, so we are going into, as I said, our sun sign is going into the sign of Aries. So Aries is ruled by the planet Mars. Aries is also the very first sign of the zodiac. Aries symbolizes bold energy. Aries symbolizes courage. Aries symbolizes initiative. Even though it aligns with autumn for us here in the Southern Hemisphere, it still represents the cosmic new year of sorts, urging us to take decisive action and to embrace fresh starts. The equinox is a time where we are encouraged to reflect on our own inner balance, how we harness Aries' fiery determination while acknowledging the quieter introspective energies of autumn. Aries energy combined with autumn equinox suggests a period to harvest the results of previous efforts while initiating plans for future growth. So it's all about combining the boldness of Aries with the wisdom of the season. So that is the first astrological event that I wanted to talk about, is the whole thing about the sun moving into Aries. So we have to understand that we're all going to be feeling bolder. We're all going to be feeling more assertive. We're all going to be feeling this kind of desire to get things done. But we have something else that's happening as well. We have the sun, which has now moved into Aries, making a conjunction with Venus that is sitting in Aries. So Venus is actually in retrograde. I have spoken about it. So if you want to check that out, you can go and look at one of the older videos, the older Sunday services. So conjunction means that they're together. Okay, so conjunction means that they're on top of each other. Now, the sun, as we know, is the center of our universe, the center of our solar system, I should say. And the sun is also the biggest, the brightest, the hottest, the whateverest, okay? So anything coming close to the sun is not necessarily a good thing, because it means it's going to burn. So just a few days after our equinox happens, the sun creates a conjunction with Venus, who is in retrograde also in the sign of Aries. And this is going to amplify our themes of individuality, it's going to amplify relationships, and it's going to amplify our creativity, but all coming back to the self, because Venus is retrograde. So Venus in Aries is all about focusing on self-love, it's about independence, it's about authenticity. And this particular conjunction is going to highlight the need for you and for everybody to honor personal desires while navigating connections that we have with other people. Okay, so it's almost like a call to embrace boldness in matters of the heart. This alignment is also going to encourage creative self-expression, because we've got Aries fearless energy that is infusing Venusian themes of art and beauty and pleasure with passion and with spontaneity. So this conjunction also supercharges Aries' pioneering spirit, making it a perfect time to focus on asserting personal values, building your own inner confidence, and pursuing your goals with vigor. All right, so autumn equinox, as we have already said, and this fiery alignment with Venus is going to remind us that while the days are growing shorter for us in the Southern Hemisphere, nature is also slowing down, but there is still an opportunity for vibrant action. Okay, so this is a time for us to be reassessing priorities as we shift seasons. It's also a time to strengthen individuality in preparation for the reflective months that are coming up for us. It's also a time to balance assertiveness with connection. So blending Aries' directness with the harmony and the lightness of Venus. So in essence, this period, this week that this is going to happen, this period calls for bold, intentional actions while embracing introspective energy of autumn, turning inward to reignite our inner fire. So that is two things that are happening, and I will say that they're happening at the end of the week. Okay, so the sun moves into Aries, I think it's Thursday or Friday, and the conjunction between Venus happens on Sunday next week. But we have something else. We also have, and I haven't spoken about it before on my soul service, but I'm bringing it up for you now, and that is Mercury retrograde. The dreaded Mercury retrograde. So Mercury went retrograde from around the 14th of March, so a couple of days ago. And as always, it creates a time for us to revisit, to rethink, and to revise aspects of our lives. But Mercury retrograde is happening in Aries. So we've got the sun in Aries, we've got Venus retrograde in Aries, now we've got Mercury retrograde in Aries as well. And I actually have a picture to show you. So this is a chart, and if you look at the top left of the screen, you can see that I've given it as the event of the 23rd of March 2025, and it is Sunday. It is 3:09 a.m. for those of you in my neighborhood. This is happening at 3:09 a.m. next week, Sunday. And what it is that I'm happening are these three planets here. Can you see I've put the circle around them? So the black one in the middle, that is the sun. So on Sunday at 3 a.m. in the morning, the sun will be at 2 degrees of Aries. You can see Venus is the green one at 2 degrees of Aries. I've got it down to the exact minute. And then we have Mercury, which is the blue one on the left-hand side at 5 degrees of Aries. And you can see both Venus and Mercury are retrograde. So this is the event that I am talking about when I am giving all of this information now. So Mercury retrograde in Aries. I'm going to leave the chart up, give you something to have a look at. So the Mercury went retrograde around the 14th of March, okay? So basically during this time, while Mercury is retrograde, we need to be thinking about how we express ourselves, how we communicate, how we put ourselves out there. Understanding that Aries is direct, that Aries is assertive, but during retrograde, miscommunication, impulsive words will and could come up for us, okay? So this is a time for us to pause and to consider how we are expressing ourselves. All right. Aries loves action and Aries loves forward momentum. But retrograde energy is going to encourage us to reflect on our past decisions. It's going to make us recalibrate our strategies, and it's also going to make us ensure that our plans actually align with our true desires. So this particular retrograde brings an opportunity for all of us to assess how self-talk impacts our confidence and our motivation. So it's about learning how to channel Aries' fiery determination inward, okay, to identify any limiting beliefs or any impulsive tendencies that we may carry. All right. So combining the element of these three planets, okay, the Sun, Mercury, and Venus, basically combining these trios coming through, this is going to deliver a dynamic mix of reflection, renewal, and forward motion. So Aries, the Aries influence in these three is going to emphasize independence, confidence, and authenticity. Take time to prioritize yourself, to rediscover what fuels your fire, and take bold steps forward. Mercury retrograde is going to temper Aries impulsiveness. It's going to urge thoughtful introspection before jumping into action. This is a chance to align bold intentions with meaningful actions. The Sun-Venus conjunction is also going to highlight the balance between self and others, okay? It's going to encourage authenticity in our relationships, and it's going to bring harmony between our personal goals and our social connections. Aries energy is fertile ground for innovative ideas, for fearless creativity, okay? It's important that we revisit any stalled projects, or if you've got any new things that you want to get going, that you can revisit those, start new ventures, because you're starting with fresh eyes, you're starting with renewed vigor. There is like this excitement energy, which is good. We can use it to our advantage. Um, with the sun moving into Aries, and obviously now we call that the equinox, the themes of light and shadow also come into play, okay? And it's important that you keep your lights and your shadows in balance. So this is a chance to honor both your drive to achieve, which is the Aries, and your need for reflection and adjustment, which is the retrograde energy. So how do we work with this energy this week? So we use the Mercury retrograde to revisit our plans and to ensure that our actions align with our long-term goals. We embrace our individuality and we take steps to nurture self-worth and confidence. We need to be mindful of impulsive words spoken. We need to use the retrograde to strengthen our ability to listen and to speak with intention. We also need to harness Aries fire to pursue our passions, to pursue creativity, to find personal joy, and do it all unapologetically. Aries loves action. Okay, don't forget that, right? Never forget that. But Mercury retrograde suggests pacing yourself and using reflection as a tool for success. So during this period, right, it is important that we step into our truth, that we step into our personal power, that we reassess the direction we're moving in, and that we move with determined focus while staying aligned with authenticity as well as our actual purpose. Okay, so those are the things. Oh, sorry, wrong button. That'll disappear in a second. I didn't switch it off. Sorry about that. So those are the things that we need to be mindful of this week. It's a lot, like it is. It's an absolute lot, but that's because there's a lot happening. So if you find people that you're talking to and people you're interacting with, and conversations with people just seem to be, yeah, hurting a little bit, this is why. This is why. This is why. All right. So now I'm going to go into the horoscopes for each sign of the zodiac. So this is a horoscope for Mercury retrograde, the sun moving into Aries, and the sun conjuncting Venus in Aries. So it's combining the energies of each of those for your zodiac sign. I will just say at this point, with regards to the zodiac sign, if you know your rising sign, pay more attention to that one. Okay, so these horoscopes are more rising sign based than they are sun sign. If you've never had your chart done before, I do highly recommend that you get your chart done, because your sun sign is the way people will see you and perceive you, but your rising sign is the true value of who you are. So it's important to know your rising sign. You can also go to astro.com, which is a fabulous website where you can get your chart done for free, as long as you have your accurate birth details, the birth time, and your birthplace. Astro.com will help you. Okay, so let's go through the horoscopes for each sign of the zodiac, starting at Aries and making our way all the way around to Pisces. So Aries. So this is your moment, clearly. Everything's happening in the sign of Aries. So Aries, this is your moment. But understand, Mercury retrograde is asking you to take a breath before you dive into action. Reassess your personal goals and the way that you communicate with people. The sun and Venus in your sign make you magnetic. So focus on self-love and let your charisma shine in your relationships. Use this time to realign with your inner fire. Okay. Taurus. So the Aries energy is lighting up your subconscious. So urging you to reflect on your inner world. Mercury retrograde might bring out old fears or old patterns to the surface for you, Taurus. So you need to work through anything that comes up for you. Work through it with patience. The sun and Venus will be illuminating your creative inspiration and help you to nurture quiet, meaningful connections. Listen to your intuition, Taurus. Listen to your intuition. Gemini, for you. So as Mercury, who is your ruler and is retrograde, it's time for you to take a step back and to reevaluate your friendships and your social networks. The sun and Venus are highlighting your aspirations, inspiring you to connect with like-minded people who align with your true goals. Avoid rushing any decisions. Okay, Gemini, use this time to clarify what you truly want within your community and in your collaborations with others. Cancerians. So the Aries influence energizes your career and your public life. But Mercury retrograde calls for strategic pause. Okay? So it's important that you revisit your professional goals and ensure that your ambitions reflect your true desires. The Sun and Venus encourage bold self-promotion and creativity at work. Trust your instincts and don't fear standing out. Leo, for you guys, this fiery Aries energy invigorates your sense of adventure and your sense of learning as well. So Mercury retrograde might delay your plans or challenge your worldview, but it is also an opportunity to revisit any unfinished projects and to expand the knowledge that you have. The Sun and Venus are going to spark passion. Okay, Leo, this is for you guys. So focus on what excites and what inspires you this week. All right. Next is Virgo. So Virgo, Mercury retrograde in Aries is going to stir your emotions, and it's going to highlight shared resources or unresolved financial matters. You need to use this time to release any old baggage, and you need to work through the fears that you have around this. The Sun and Venus bring healing energy, transforming challenges into opportunities for growth and deeper intimacy. Okay, for deeper intimacy. Libra, for you guys, Aries is lighting up your partnership sector. So Mercury retrograde is going to encourage reflection on your communication and boundaries within relationships. Old connections may resurface for closure and possibly for clarity. The Sun and Venus bring harmony and renewal for you, Libra, sorry, nurturing relationships that celebrate your authenticity. And next is Scorpio. So Scorpio, the Aries influence is going to fire up your daily life and your wellness habits. So Mercury retrograde may disrupt your routines, but it's an opportunity for you to reassess how you use your time and how you use your energy. The Sun and Venus are going to inspire creative approaches to health and to your productivity. So focus on what ignites your passion. Okay. Sagittarius, the Aries energy is going to fuel your creative and passionate side, making it a perfect time to revisit artistic projects or hobbies that you may have. The retrograde may delay progress, but it will also bring some interesting, fresh insights. The Sun and Venus are going to amplify your charm, so express yourself boldly and let your inner light shine. Capricorn, for you, the Aries focus is going to turn your attention to your home, to your family. So the retrograde could bring unresolved family dynamics to the surface. You need to handle them with patience, Capricorn. The Sun and Venus are going to offer opportunities to beautify your space or to strengthen the bonds that you have. You need to trust that reflection will lead you to lasting growth. And Aquarius. So it's going to energize your communication sector, inspiring bold conversations and many, many fresh ideas. The retrograde may cause delays or misunderstandings, so double check the details before you commit to anything. The Sun and Venus are going to encourage you to share your thoughts creatively. Your words have the power to captivate and inspire this week. And last but certainly not least, we have Pisces. All right, so Pisces, Aries energy is going to highlight your finances and your sense of self-worth. Mercury retrograde asks you to reevaluate spending habits and to clarify your priorities. The Sun and Venus are going to enhance your confidence, so you need to embrace bold decisions that reflect your values and move closer to financial and emotional security. So everybody, the combination of Mercury retrograde, the Sun moving into Aries, and the Venus and making the conjunction with Venus is going to bring a fiery yet very reflective energy to us all. Please take the bold steps, but make sure that you balance them out with thoughtful introspection. Use this time to realign with your passions and to embrace your authentic self in your relationships and in your creative pursuits. And that, my dear friends, is the astrology segment of our soul service complete. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now we are going to move into this week's big reflection, which is a big topic that we are all super, super excited about. So just a little bit of backstory around death, dying, and the afterlife. So it's the only guarantee in life, okay? For you and for I and for everybody who walks on this planet, everybody who breathes air in one way, shape, or form, whether you're a plant, whether you're an animal, or whether you are a human, we are all going to die. It is a guarantee. It is the only guarantee in life. You will die. I will die. We will all die. As human beings, though, we are so afraid of it. We are petrified of it. Why? Because we don't remember. That's why. I mean, it really comes down to as simple as that. We don't remember. We don't remember what happens when we die. We don't remember what is waiting for us on the other side. And when we don't understand a thing, it is human nature to be afraid of a thing. Now, there's a lot of people who are spiritual, who have an understanding of what happens when we die and what awaits us. So therefore, they don't have that fear of dying. But I talk to people every single day, and as soon as death comes up, the conversation of death comes up, everybody gets jittery, scared, panicked, fearful, anxious, etc. So the idea today is to not bring fear, but to bring calmness, to help you understand what's going to happen, what is the process, why those processes take place, and to give us an idea of, what it's all about. So let's start. So from a soul and from a spiritual perspective, we need to understand that death is not an end. It's not the end of anything. Death is a transition. It's a continuation of the soul's eternal journey. Okay? It is the continuation of the soul's eternal journey. I see Earthstar says that she's getting glitches in reception. She's going to have to watch later on. Oh, I'm sorry that the signal is not good, my darling. On my side, it's showing strong. So hopefully it's nothing too serious and everybody else is able to watch comfortably. Right, so understand that from a soul and from a spiritual perspective, death is not an ending, but it is a transition. It is a continuation of the soul's eternal journey. So at the moment of death, okay, at the moment of earth death, the soul immediately begins to separate from the physical body. The instant that the heart stops beating, there is immediately a disconnect between the soul and the physical body. And people who have experienced it and survived have come back and said that this feeling it's described as a feeling of lightness. It's described as a release, and it's a lightness and a release because suddenly we are let go of the heaviness of the physical form. Earth has got a lot of gravity. Our bodies are physically heavy. They're made up of matter. They're made up of muscle. They're made up of blood. They're made up of all sorts of things. They are physically heavy. So when your soul disconnects, when your soul separates from that, it is like if you imagine holding something and then letting it go and it just gently floats. That's how the feeling has been described. So it's at the moment of death, immediately the soul starts lifting. It separates and it feels light and it feels release and it feels free. We then immediately begin what has been described as a life review. I'm going to go into that in more detail in a second. And once we've transitioned, once we've died, okay, once we've let go of our earth body, we then do this life review. And the life review is where the soul reflects on the experiences of its most recent incarnation. In other words, this lifetime. And this is not from a judgment, but from an opportunity to understand and to learn from the choices we made, the actions we took, and the relationships that we formed during this lifetime. And as I said, I've got going to give you a lot more information on the life review in a minute. So the actual crossing over, okay, so again, we're still at that part of dying, no matter how we die. It doesn't matter what the cause of death is. It seems to be the same for everybody. So Spirit have confirmed that, and people I've spoken to over the years who have experienced a near-death experience, everybody seems to say the same thing. Doesn't matter whether you were ill, whether it was an accident, whether it was, through somebody else's hand. It doesn't matter what it is. We all seem to experience the same. So the actual crossing over has been described as moving through a tunnel towards a warm, bright, loving light. So if you imagine yourself just floating effortlessly, okay, towards something, this particular light, okay, that we move towards has been associated with pure love. It's been associated with peace, and it's been associated with unity. So those are the words that Spirit gave me, that this light that we move towards, it is love, it is peace, it is unity. It's not like the actual light bulb that we associate light with. It's a completely different concept. Loved ones who have passed before us, so family members, friends, husbands, wives, children, whoever it is that you have connected with on this earth plane, who passed before you, our spirit guides who have been with us our entire life, angelic beings, and everybody are waiting for you in that light. Okay? They're there to greet you. They're there to offer comfort, and they're there to help you orientate yourself, because it's obviously a completely different environment. So these beings are there to help the soul navigate the transition while always feeling at ease. Spirit tell me that there is this instant recognition. So as soon as our soul has departed the physical body, as soon as we see this light, as soon as we move towards this light, there is instant recognition. There is no fear, there is no panic, there is instant recognition and a feeling of being safe and comfortable with everything that is going on around you. There is, and it doesn't matter what your religious belief is either. So this seems to be the same kind of experience, whether you're a Christian, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Hindu, whether you're Buddhist, whether you are Jewish, it doesn't matter. It seems to be the same for everybody, okay? And spirits say that there is this instant recognition of, oh, I know where I am and I know how this is supposed to be. You also have instant recognition of your loved ones who have had an earth experience with you, with your spirit guides, with your angels, with everybody that's there. There is instant recognition, an instant feeling of, so after the actual death, okay, after the actual death, your soul goes through a period of healing and rest. Because, I mean, let's be honest, earth, living in earth has not been easy. It's been tough. It's been hard. It's been challenging. You know, I honestly believe in all the incarnations that we could have, whether it's on earth or in another place. And that's a topic for topic for another conversation. But earth to me is the hardest. It's the toughest. It's the most exhausting. It is the hardest and it is the toughest incarnation. Only the strong choose to incarnate on earth because you have to be strong to deal with it. So, after the actual death, once your soul has transitioned and once we've had the welcoming party and connecting with everybody, you do need to go through a period of healing and a period of rest. This is a time where the soul releases any lingering pain, any lingering trauma, or any attachments from the physical life. So it's almost that period of, oh, I don't have a sore leg anymore, or I don't have a heart problem anymore, or, oh, I don't need to breathe anymore. I don't need my lungs. It's that period of realizing that you're not attached to that earth-bound vessel any longer. Our souls may spend time reflecting on the lessons and how they aligned with the greater purpose. So this is again the life review, which I will be going into in a bit of detail shortly. So this is a time of deep understanding, and it's a time where we connect to a bigger picture of existence. So then, as soon as the soul is ready, all right, as soon as we have caught our breaths, oriented ourselves, and it happens in an instant, we then experience what's called a reconnection with our soul group. So soul group, this is an interesting phrase, an interesting term that Spirit gave. A soul group is a collective of other souls who have shared many lifetimes with you before. So not just this earth experience, but other lifetimes. Generally, we have a soul group where we teach each other lessons as we go. So if you've ever had a past life regression done and people say, oh, you know, you and your mother have done many lifetimes before, you are in a soul group together. And we change roles, like sometimes you're the parent, sometimes you're the child, sometimes you're the abuser, sometimes you're the abusee. You know, it shifts and it changes all the time. But we stay together to teach each other the same lessons over and over and over again. And this is called your soul group. Okay, so when you have the reconnection with your soul group, this reunion is a joyous one. This is a reunion of unconditional love. This is a reunion where you feel that sense of belonging, that sense of connection, that sense of truth with people you understand and people who understand you. I mustn't use the word people because it's not people, it's soul. All right. So your soul may also meet with an advanced spiritual being or two or three or five. These advanced spiritual beings, they come to help you understand the experiences, and they also come to help you plan your next step, your next journey, your next adventure, if you will. Okay. So while you're waiting, so now your soul has disconnected from the human, it's reconnected with its soul group, it's reconnected with its family, it's reconnected with angelic beings, and it's done the life review, it's done all the things. it's waiting now, okay? It's waiting now for the next incarnation. So there's this period of time where you are in between lives, if we can call it that. And that phrase, life between lives, Spirit gave it to me. And they were saying it's the only way that you and I are going to understand it, okay? So remembering there are no watches, there are no clocks, there is no time in Spirit. So this life between lives, there isn't really time allocated to it, but obviously it's what do we do after we've incarnated and before we incarnate again. So Spirit explained to me that in this state, so in this space of life between lives, the soul resides in a spiritual realm or a spiritual plane. People use different words there. In this space, we may explore new lessons that we may want to learn, or we may explore ways that we can grow even faster, grow even further, that we can accomplish even more. If the soul chooses to reincarnate again, and that was a very interesting statement when Spirit said to me, if the soul chooses to reincarnate again, because I didn't think we had a choice. I didn't think our souls had a choice. I thought it was just everybody incarnates until such time as you've learned all the things and you're closer to being where we need to be. But Spirit said no, everybody gets to choose every time. You chose this voluntarily. So if the soul chooses to reincarnate again, it will collaborate with various spirit guides and various different beings of light and beings of love on different levels in order to plan the next life existence. So this involves selecting key experiences. This involves selecting important, significant relationships that are going to happen. And this involves also choosing the challenges, the problems, the hardships, the difficulties that you're going to have that are going to support your evolution. Because ultimately, that's the end game here. The end game here is soul evolution. Okay? So let's talk about that for a second. So we need to understand that this whole concept of death, dying, and the afterlife is all about the eternal progression of the soul. And I spoke about that last week in last week's soul service. So it's about spiritual evolution. We need to understand, this is what Spirit said to me, we need to understand that the soul is always evolving, always moving closer to the ultimate realization of unity with the divine or source himself, herself, itself. So this is the point. The point is that we are here to learn, to grow, to experience, so that we can become of pure heart, of pure mind, of pure soul. Okay, heart and mind are earth theories, but it helps us to put into context to understand. Spirit said to me that this process can involve countless lifetimes and countless transitions. Every single one serves as a stepping stone in the journey of enlightenment. And again, this explanation is not specific to a religious belief. This explanation is not specific to a particular culture. This is across the board for everybody. We choose to incarnate and to have particular religious experiences and understandings to help us with our evolution of the soul. So those people who have pushed religion away completely, or those people who 100% embraced it, it's all part of the plan. It's all part of your soul's experience. So people who have pushed religion away and said they want nothing to do with it, it doesn't mean that they're failing, because maybe the lesson that they chose to have in this lifetime is the lesson of no belief, of no religion, in order to understand the significance of it once they've transitioned. It's a big concept. So, back to this whole process of dying. Back to this whole process of dying. So, understanding that each lifetime that we have is a stepping stone towards enlightenment. So, the transition, the dying, the earthly dying part is generally described always as peaceful. We always feel like we are enveloped in unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. Once we are freed from our physical body, once we have been released from the heaviness of earth, the soul often experiences a profound sense of liberation and clarity. Okay? The soul becomes deeply aware of its connection to all existence. Like right now, we're only worried about like our skin and what our skin contains, and possibly the things within like a meter or 2 meters around us. But generally, we're very self-centered. We're very focused only on self, okay? But as soon as you let go of the human, as soon as you let go of your physical vessel, suddenly just imagine that the mind, the clarity, the expanse is just absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. Your soul will become deeply, deeply aware of its connection to all existence, recognizing, I mean, and it's almost instant memory, okay? This is the way that Spirit gave it to me. It's like right now, as humans, we don't remember. We have chosen to have an earth experience, not remembering what happens when we're not on earth. But the instant we die, we have instant memory. Instantly, it comes back to us. And we instantly recognize that death is not an end, but yet just a transition from one state to another. So, Spirit told me that the process of dying and the journey afterward does vary for each person, okay, for each soul. And the change is shaped by the individual experiences that each person had, by their belief systems, and by their spiritual awareness. What remains consistent is the reassurance that death is not to be feared. It is a return to love. It is a return to light, and it is the eternal essence of who we truly, truly are. Okay, so that's kind of the broad picture. Okay, that's kind of the broad picture. I sort of said to Spirit, can I have like more information on the actual dying process? Like, how easy is it? How difficult? What do we have to do? What do we expect? Is it painful? Is it like I had 1,000 questions? So this is the what Spirit gave me. I want to just add in here just very briefly, okay? I have in this lifetime I have died before, but I'm so upset because I have absolutely no memory of it. So the doctors told me I was dead, right? They said I had died. And I mean, I would give anything to have those memories. But I came back with nothing. It's very sad. It breaks my heart. I would love to have had a first-hand experience that I could share with you. I've had an experience, but I have no memory of that. But clearly, it's not meant to be, so it is what it is. So let's talk about the actual dying experience. So I can relate to this because I do remember the events that led up to that and that moment, but I don't remember what happened after that moment. And I also remember the coming back, but it's the in-between part that I don't remember. So spirits say to me that dying is a very natural and very beautiful process. They say to me that it is also so much easier and so much more peaceful than we imagine. Because everything is difficult. Nothing on this human world is easy. Nothing in life is easy. Everything is hard. Everything is difficult. Everything is a struggle. Everything is, no pain, no gain. We've been so programmed into believing that. We've been so programmed into thinking that no pain, no gain. So when it comes to dying, we imagine the worst pain. We imagine the worst suffering. We imagine the worst. And Spirit is saying that it's actually not painful at all, and it's actually easy, simple, and actually quite a beautiful process. So spirits say the actual moment of death feels like a release. Okay, Spirit kept using that word, a release. They say that it's as though the soul just gently slips out of the physical body, leaving behind the heaviness, leaving behind the pain that the physical body maybe have been experiencing, leaving behind the limitations of our earthly experience. People who have experienced near-death experiences before often describe it as effortless. So that is the word that came up a lot, effortless. Like stepping out of a tight pair of shoes or floating upwards, it gives that profound sense of relief, as if all the struggles and the burdens and the restrictions are instantly lifted. So Spirit gave me that sense of, if you've ever worn a pair of shoes that has been too tight, but you're out and you have to wear the shoes and you can't change it, and you're in agony, but you push through and you cope and you've got blisters and whatever, and then as soon as you get home and you slip your foot out of that shoe, and there's that like instant kind of that was the feeling that Spirit gave me of dying. And it's that instantly, it's that quickly. It's not days and days. It's like instant release, effortless. Spirit says that the whole process feels incredibly peaceful because all the pain and all the suffering that we may have been experiencing before death are immediately replaced with a soothing calmness and an overwhelming sense of serenity. So if you've ever had the honor, the blessing of watching somebody transition, of watching somebody die, and again, it doesn't matter how they're dying. It doesn't matter if it's through disease or if it's through an accident or whatever it is. But the moment before death, there might be fear, there might be pain, there might be anguish, there might be whatever on the face. But the instant they die, there's almost this softening. There's almost this, like I've had so many of my clients say to me that, oh, they watched their parents or they watched whoever. And it was almost like there was this little smile on their face immediately after dying. And it's because that's exactly how it feels. You know, the pain, the suffering is human. It's earthbound. It's not in spirit. There is no pain in spirit. There is no pain in spirit. So the next thing that happens, spirits say to me, it's about the feeling of letting go that comes. Spirits say, imagine it like releasing a weight that you've been carrying around. So if you get yourself a brick, okay, and if you carry that brick in your hand for a long time, like let's just say you hold the brick in your hand for an hour, the longer you hold that brick, the heavier it gets. And when you eventually pluck up the courage to put the brick down, like immediately you feel as if your hand is just going to lift up into the air because there isn't that weight there anymore. And this is exactly what spirit is saying. The body is heavy. The body is dense. This thing that we have, this skin, this flesh, it's heavy, it's dense. It's energy that's compacted into a short, tiny space. It's very heavy, it's very dense. The soul, on the other hand, is very light and very expansive. So Jenny says she watched her mom cross over and it was a very peaceful transition. You see, like, it really is. I mean, it's there may be pain before she transitions, but as soon as she has taken her last breath, as soon as she has, immediately there is that peace. And it is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful to see. So Spirit said to me that the act of separating, and when we talk about separating, we're talking about the soul lifting from the body. The act of separating feels natural. It's almost as if the soul knows it's time. It's almost as if the soul knows it's time. So many who have experienced dying have also described the sensation as familiar, like returning to a place of comfort, returning to a place of love, and a sense of belonging that has always been waiting for them, you know? So again, think about yourself that you've been on a holiday, you've been away on your own, separate from your family, in another country for an extended period of time. Okay, so let's just say you were working in another country, you were far away from your family. Now you're on the plane, you're coming back home, you're coming back to your family. You know that they're all waiting at the airport for you. As you walk through that door and as you see your family there, just imagine for a second what your heart feels like. Just imagine for a second what happens, that and suddenly everybody's running and suddenly everybody's crying and suddenly everybody, that is what dying feels like. When you see all of these people you haven't seen in such a long time, where there's this instant recognition, this instant sense of unconditional love. That's dying, friends. That's dying. Spirit confirmed again that the process is incredibly gentle and also very guided. You are not alone. You are not alone. Even if, as a human being on this earth, even if you had absolutely nobody, even if you had zero family, zero friends, even if you were a hobo on the street, it doesn't matter what your earth experience was. There are people, energies, and souls waiting for you as soon as you transition. And it is that feeling of coming home. Okay. So even those people who fear death while they're still alive, spirits say they are the ones who really and truly do feel that deep sense of acceptance, that deep sense of readiness when their time comes. Remembering that this whole process is often guided by unseen forces like our spirit guides, our loved ones who are on the other side and waiting for us. Okay. Spirit carried on to say to me that as the soul separates from the body, all our senses and all our awareness shifts. Okay. This has been described as a sharp clarity, as if they suddenly can see and hear and feel far beyond the limitations of the physical senses. Like you and I right now, we can only hear, see, smell, and touch things that within our physical environment. So if you think about a friend and a family or somebody in your life who is in another part of the world, another part of the house, another part of the country, where you are right this second, you cannot reach out and hear them. You cannot see them and you can't touch them. You can't smell them. So when we transition, instantly, all of our senses are suddenly amplified. Okay. Again, spirits say about this overwhelming sensation of unconditional love and warmth. And again, this is something that comes through over and over and over again from those people who have experienced near-death experiences and have shared with the world. Okay. The light that is often described is not just a bright light like you're staring into a globe. Okay. Spirits say it's not like that. Again, that's our human limitations that imagine it that way. Spirit said it's not just a bright light like a globe. It feels more alive and it feels more welcoming. And immediately, spirits say, time dissolves. Immediately. There is no, oh, I've been here 5 minutes already. No, nothing like that. Apparently, spirits say it doesn't even come into our conscious. It doesn't even come into our thoughts of how long has it taken? How long have I been here? How long have you been here? Apparently, those conversations never take place. Spirits say to me as well that, once we have transitioned, there is no rush. There is no sense of urgency. There is just a feeling of being in an eternal now. Like everything just is now. Everything is just, this is what matters the most. Okay, so Spirit went on to say to me that fear is often rooted in the unknown. But as the process unfolds, fear will fade entirely. So as we transition and as we become more comfortable and as we become awakened, as our senses grow, fear, poof, is disappeared completely. So when you are surrounded by the presence of loved ones, when you are surrounded by your spirit guides, and when you are surrounded by angelic beings who are there to provide comfort and guidance, and who are there to make the whole process feel safe and secure for you, there is absolutely no space for fear. There is a deep, innate understanding that this is just a change, just a transition, not an ending. And the soul often feels a profound sense of trust in the journey ahead. So again, Spirit said that letting go of the earthly body also involves releasing attachment. This was huge for me, okay? Letting go of the human body involves releasing attachment to the physical human identity. That was also huge for me, okay? So as soon as our soul leaves the body, as soon as there's that disconnect, we leave all attachment to the identity of that body behind as well. We understand what that body did for us, what that identity did for us. We understand why we needed that identity, why we needed the shape, the size, the form, the color, the whatever of it. We understand why it had to have curly hair, or why it had to have straight hair, why it had to be masculine, feminine, and whatever. We understand and we're grateful for that, but we are not attached to that anymore. Spirits say that this whole process of letting go of the human identity also feels incredibly natural because the soul recognizes that the physical self was just one chapter in an infinite journey. And without the constraints of the human ego, the soul experiences itself as limitless, connected to a greater whole and full of love and light. Okay, so spirits say that us humans, we are the ones that fear death. because it is the unknown. And also because of the attachments that we have formed with the people in our lives, okay? We have attachments to people who are living, we have attachments to experiences, and we also have attachment to physical stuff. We do, okay? You can pretend that you don't have, but you do. To be human is to have attachment. It's the lesson. It's why we've come here. However, the soul knows what it needs to do. The soul knows what it wants to do. And Spirit is saying it's like taking a step into a new room. It feels natural and it feels incredibly automatic. So when you walk into a room for the first time, you look around, you observe, oh, there's a chair, there's a table, there's a thing. Like there's immediately that sense of familiar, that sense of comfort. So we need to understand that our spirit guides, our angels, our loved ones in spirit who are there before us, that they are there to help us transition, to help us adjust, to reassure us. And this all happens instantly as soon as as soon as the soul leaves the body. There's immediately this deep sense of peace, and it's easy to let go of the earthly attachments. We don't care what, as soon as you die, the instant you die, you don't care how much money you had. You don't care whether you lived in a fancy house. You don't care what car you had. None of that matters because it's not relevant to what's happening in the afterlife. Okay. So, while the thought of dying may seem daunting to you and I, the experience itself is often described as gentle, easy, and very comforting. It's not a struggle and it's not a loss, but it is a return to the essence of who we actually truly are. It is a luminous, eternal soul. That is who you and I are, these souls, these beautiful bright lights. So letting go of the physical body is not only effortless, but it is a profound reunion with love, with light, and with the infinite source of all that is. Okay, so that is the physical dying process. Now I want to talk about just a little bit about this life review process, because this is something I tend to say to a lot of people. A lot of people who come to me for readings where they want to connect with their deceased loved ones. This is something that comes up often, is this whole life review process. So it is important that we understand what it means and how it works and you know, all the details. So I said to Spirit, tell me a little bit about this review process. Like, what is it and how does it work and why is it important and all the rest of it. So Spirit said to me, I need to have a sip of water. Okay, so the life review process, Spirit said, is a key aspect to the soul's journey after death. This is where we are offered an opportunity for profound self-understanding and growth. It is not a place of judgment. It is not a punitive experience, but it is a deeply compassionate and illuminating reflection. Okay? The life review begins quite soon after the soul transitions from the physical body. So for some souls, it could be absolutely instant. And for some souls, it could take a while. For us on earth, there is that time element. For in spirit, there's no time element. Spirit said that the soul, this life review, is a multi-dimensional experience where the soul revisits significant moments, significant decisions, significant relationships, and significant events from its most recent lifetime. Okay? The purpose is to gain insight. The purpose is to learn from our experiences and to understand the impact that our choices made, impact of our choices that we made during this lifetime. So, Spirit tell me that the soul witnesses the lifetime as though, like, to put it in a way that you and I could understand it, it's like watching a movie. So imagine yourself sitting in a movie house, there's a big screen in front of you, and you're watching your life, okay? Your earth experience. It's like you're watching a movie. Spirit used the term holographic projection. So like you can almost see it in 3D and you can walk in and amongst it and whatever, but otherwise imagine it like you're watching your life on a movie screen. Spirits say that this can occur sequentially, in other words, from birth to death, sequentially as you go through life, or It could be with a simultaneous understanding of various moments at the same time. So every detail, no matter how small, gets revisited, from major life events to the seemingly mundane interactions that you have. All of it gets reviewed. So now, if you live to be 92 years old, if your human existence is 92 years long, it doesn't mean that your life review is going to take 92 years, okay? Because we're not reliving it, we're just watching it almost in fast forward, if you want to call it that way. And also remembering that there is no time in spirit. So that concept of 92 years does not exist. Spirits say that one unique aspect of this life review that we all go through is the ability to experience the events that we had, not only from our perspective of us being in that moment, but also from the perspective of other people who were part of that. So that was, again, an interesting kind of thought that Spirit gave me, where Spirit said, you're not just watching yourself acting out your actions, but if, for example, you hurt somebody, if you caused somebody pain, okay, during your human existence, when you do your life review, you may be in their body feeling the pain that you inflicted on them. That suddenly puts things into perspective, doesn't it? So Spirit is saying if you hurt somebody, you may feel their pain or emotions that they experienced. Conversely, if you brought joy to somebody, you will also feel their love and their absolute gratitude that they felt when you gave them joy. So it's not just about the negative. Remember, in Spirit, there is no negative. When we do the life review, we need to see the pain. We need to see the joy. We need to see the happy. We need to see the sad, because each one of these experiences have taught us something, have brought something to our soul's experience. Okay, so our spirit guides, our angels, and various higher beings, that's the description Spirit gave me, various higher beings, our spirit guides, our angels, and various higher beings will often sit with us as we go through our life review. Because we need the support, but also understanding that the role that these beings play is not to judge us for what we did or what we didn't do or how we did it, but to offer us wisdom, to offer us comfort, and to offer us clarity so that we can put everything into perspective and say, oh, you know what, that experience when I hurt that person, I learned this from it. Or that experience where I did something good and I uplifted a person, I learned that from that experience. It's about putting it all into perspective. So these beings that sit with us when we go through our soul service, they are there to help you interpret the experiences that you had, your entire lifetime's experiences, with love and with compassion. Okay. So again, remember, the primary purpose of a life review is to identify the lessons that you learned and the areas for growth. The soul will gain a deeper understanding of how its actions aligned or misaligned, okay? Aligned or misaligned with the spiritual values and the purpose of why it incarnated in the first place. So, the life review will reveal the ripple effects of the soul's choices and the soul's actions on others and the world at large. It'll provide insight into how even small acts of kindness or thoughtlessness contributed to a larger web of experiences. The soul will reflect on its life path and whether it fulfilled the goals and lessons it intended to achieve before it incarnated. So during this life review, when we choose to be born, okay, before we are incarnated, we choose the lessons that we're going to experience. Lesson of poverty, lesson of wealth, lesson of health, lesson of illness, lesson of this, lesson of that. We choose that. We choose to say, right, I'm going to earth and these are the experiences I'm going to have. So when we do the life review, it's almost like checking, how did you do? Did you do that? Did you do that? Did you do that? So it is really about putting it all into perspective. So this includes assessing whether we lived authentically, whether we expressed love, and whether we contributed positively to our own growth as well as to collective growth. So, any acts of compassion and acts of kindness and acts of love will often stand out during a life review because, again, those are things that matter to the soul. Times when the soul could have acted with more love, times when the soul could have been more courageous or more understanding are greatly brought into our awareness. Okay, so opportunities missed, let's put it that way, opportunities missed are highlighted during the life review. So remembering the review is going to help the soul to see itself without the ego. Ego is a human thing. Ego is an earthbound thing. There is no ego in spirit, right? So it'll help us to see ourselves without the ego, without self-deception, revealing the true essence and our true intentions. To me, it sounds absolutely beautiful. So, any emotions that we might have had in our human earthly existence, okay? Any emotions of guilt, regret, pride, all of these kind of emotions may come up during the life review, but they are met with unconditional love and understanding. It because the soul has to release these feelings because they're not in spirit. These feelings do not exist. Guilt, regret, pride, ego, all of these things, fear, are all very human things. So we see them in the life review, we recognize them in the life review, but we leave them right there. So your life review fosters a sense of interconnectedness, helping us to understand how each action has contributed to the whole bigger picture. The insights that we gain empower our soul to approach future experiences with greater awareness and with greater intention. So once the review is complete, the soul will carry these lessons forward. We don't carry the experiences, we don't carry the memories. Okay, you must understand the life review is not memory lane. It is just, oh, look at that, and this is what you learned, and this is what you should have done or could have done or whatever. It's more that it's not about memories. And once you finish the life review, those memories are gone, so to speak. Okay, if there are any unresolved issues or areas that could have been improved or areas for improvement, this will become part of your soul's ongoing spiritual development and they will become key in the next lifetime. So, for those souls that choose to incarnate again, this life review will help your guides who sit with you to plan your next life, to plan your next relationships, your next challenges, your next opportunities, all of that. Because we look and see, right, you know what, I didn't do too well there, I didn't do too well there. Let's plan experiences so that I have the chance to learn better. So the life review, I have to emphasize, is not about punishment. It's not. And I don't care what your religious belief tells you. The life review is not about punishment and judgment. It's not. It's absolutely not. It is more about learning, healing, and understanding. No judgment, no punishment. It is an incredibly loving process that will help your soul to evolve, to recognize its strengths, and to embrace areas of improvement. So, throughout this process, the soul reconnects with its innate essence of love, compassion, and unity, preparing it for the next steps on the eternal journey. Sure, that was a lot, eh? So I hope this little talk, I hope it just helps you to have a clearer understanding of the dying process and of what awaits us on the other side and what this experience, this life journey is all about. You know, I have a lot of people who say to me, why do I have so much bad luck? Why is there so much pain in this world? Why is there so much suffering? Well, I can tell you that the hardest lessons, the hardest experiences, the biggest challenges that we have are our biggest and greatest lessons. So those people who have terrible earth experiences are having huge spiritual growth. Those people who have easy, simple, uncomplicated lives are not having as much growth. But maybe they've chosen an easier existence because they had a previously really, really tough experience. We are not here to judge people. We are not here to judge. But understand that when you transition, it isn't about judgment. It isn't about punishment for any bad you've done. It is about putting things into perspective and understanding from a point of love. Okay, so I really hope that I really hope that you understood that, and I really hope that it resonated with you. I see Sugantha's got an interesting question here. I really think this is a very interesting question, Sugantha. So Sugantha says, do we disturb the soul when we do crossing overs? It's been said from a religious perspective, and I have heard that before, but I'm going to give you my perspective, okay, Sugantha, as somebody who does crossing overs, as somebody who is always helping other humans find closure and peace in the loss of a loved one. So let me take that off for a second. What we need to understand is, again, in the spirit world, there is no sense of time. There is no sense of, oh gosh, I've only been dead for 5 minutes, therefore I can't come through and talk to through somebody. The soul that is now in spirit, the soul that has now transitioned, they don't have attachment to the human life. They have attachment to their soul family. They have attachment to their soul connections, but they don't have attachment to their life, to their body, to their personality. But they recognize and understand that when somebody goes for a crossing over, when somebody goes for a connection, they understand that that person needs healing, that that person needs to feel a sense of unconditional love, a sense of forgiveness, maybe a sense of whatever. They understand that it is for that soul's growth. Okay. So this is why when you have a crossing over, often that what comes through from love. And I mean, I have had people say who've had terrible relationships with their parents, terrible relationships with their parents. And then all of a sudden they go for a crossing over and the parents come saying, oh, I love you and I'm so proud of you and I'm so happy for you and you're so amazing. And they go, that doesn't sound like my parents. But understanding where they are, there is no judgment, there is no ego, there is no suffering. And they see the person, they see you for who you actually are. They see you on a soul level and they love you unconditionally. So in answer to your question, Sugantha, do we disturb them? No, we don't. I will say to you that when you do a crossing over, when you connect with a deceased loved one, their entire soul energy is not coming through. It is a fragment of their soul energy that is coming through. It is a tiny little piece of their soul energy that is coming through. The rest of their soul energy is doing whatever their soul energy needs to do. So when you do the crossing over, it is just think of it as a single strand of hair that belongs and that is coming through, because that is how little and how simplified and how this earth experience is. So they only give you what you need to heal in that moment. If their full essence came through, whoever it was that was channeling their energy wouldn't be able to handle that vibration at all. Okay. So Renee Shree asks, I hope you understood that, by the way. Renee Shree asks, is it true that we choose our parents, the country we're born, our race, our gender, etc., etc., etc.? 100%, my darling, 100%. So before you incarnate, like if you now are in the spirit world and you say, oh, you know what? I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to incarnate. I'm ready to have an earth experience. You sit with your team, your spiritual team, with the angelic realms, divine source. You sit and you plan this earth experience. Say, well, okay, in order for me to learn this lesson, I need this country, this family, these talents, these things. I need these lessons. So it's all planned and strategized. Absolutely 100% yes. 100%. You are so welcome, Sasha. I am so glad. Bridget says, do I know the little book of Crossing the Creek? I do not know that little book, Crossing the Creek. Oh, I will go and look it up because I do not know that book and I would love that. Absolutely love that. Thank you for sharing. So it is a big concept. It is a big topic, what we have discussed here tonight. But I really hope that for those of you who are, losing loved ones, it's the only guarantee in life. We are all going to die. We are all going to lose loved ones. We're all going to lose people. People are going to die. It is guaranteed. It is the only guarantee in life. Nothing else is guaranteed except death. But it's not the ending. It is just a transition from one state and form to another. It is letting go of the physical and embracing love. And you must remember that when it is our time to go, our loved ones are waiting for us. And for them, it's going to feel instant from the moment they passed to the moment you pass. It's going to feel instant because there is no time. Time is very much a human thing. Time is very much an earthbound thing. Why? Because it's about control. We've come here to learn control. We've come here to learn dominance. We've come here to learn sacrifice. We've come here to learn so much. And as I said in the beginning, I truly believe that being earthbound is the hardest incarnation a soul could ever have. There are easier places to go for incarnations. There are easier, simpler places. But we've come here, you and I have chosen human incarnation because we're ready for the big lessons. We're ready for the big lessons. Thank you for sharing and allowing me the platform to speak. So, as we bring our service to a close, I want to give gratitude to every single one of you that are here tonight, to every single one of you who watch who watch the replay. And I want to give a special thanks to my members of my YouTube channel, the names that are on your screen right now. To all of you that are on my screen right now, for your financial support, for your unconditional love, for everything that you bring to me. I am so grateful. I am so grateful to every single one of you. Thank you for enjoying this space with me. Thank you for enjoying this time. And I so look forward to connecting with you all again soon. Join me as we close our service, and I look forward to connecting with you all again next week. Beloved spirit guides, angels, ascended masters, and our higher selves, we come before you with hearts that are so full of gratitude for the sacred time that we have shared here tonight. Thank you for your loving presence. Thank you for your wisdom. And thank you for your guidance throughout this entire service. We honor the healing that was being sent earlier on, and the healing that was sent out to the world, and the healing that we received in our own hearts. May it continue to flow where it is needed most, touching lives and lifting spirits with divine grace. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the insights. And thank you for the connections that we have made here today. We are so humbled and so grateful for the ways in which you inspire us to grow, to heal, and to align with our higher purpose. As we step into the week ahead, we ask for your continued assistance. Please walk beside us, offering clarity when we feel uncertain, strength when we feel weary, and love when we need reminding of our true worth. Please protect and guide us, and help us to remain open to the beauty of life and the wisdom of the universe around us. May we carry this light forward, sharing it with others, staying deeply connected to the divine within and the divine around us. With deepest gratitude and deepest love, we thank you. And so it is. And so it is. Have an amazing week, friends. Thank you for all your love and support. See you again soon. Take care.